My name's Angus Ross, and we have a small studio workshop here where we design and make sort of furniture, predominantly sort of to commission, but we do a certain amount of batch produced work as well, really. And we make furniture from all sorts of things, from domestic stools right up to sort of sculptural functional artworks. One of the particular things we do and we're well known for is actually steam bending, where we do a lot of sort of curvaceous sculptural work which is bent with steam. So in that instance we use a lot of timber that we grow locally, that's grown locally in the States. So we have a small bit of woodland that we take timber from, and we use that and steam bend it into shapes to create sort of various different products. We design and develop things from scratch, so a lot of things are really sort of taken from the very basics. The way I tend to do is I work sort of learned how to design and then pre-computers really, so I very much work in the old traditional way where we use a sketchbook and then move on to usually three-dimensional models, small models that we make out of small bits of wood, and then we usually produce, if it's something like a chair, we'll produce a full-size prototype. So that prototype can be sat on and checked for comfort and see if it works, and for height and everything like this sort of and in the bespoke process of making things for people at that stage, if I was designing chairs and producing them for somebody, I would get them to come along and sit in this chair and just to check that it's sort of it fulfills the brief in terms of comfort and style, etc. And then the next stage from that, we would then produce what's called a rod, which is a full-size drawing, and a rod's a very traditional woodworking sort of method where you do a sort of partial drawing which is full-size, which we then use to lay components on to check angles and check sizes and work to that. The next stage would be then to actually get the wood and start putting it into the components. I mean, typically we have here, this is a sort of a steam bent component that we use for one of our sort of regular pieces, which is called the unstable stool, which is a small rocking stool. And this is a steam bent piece of oak, which we bend into that shape and then produces a very, very strong structural shape, really. The seat for these unstable stools is this is an example in the raw where you can see the sort of 5 different sections which have been sort of pre-shaped to create that shape and then glued together. Now they will then be sculpted to create a sort of a bum seat effectively, really, and then the various holes put in there so the legs will be fixed into. The Perthshire Open Studios is an annual event that happens always in September, really, so the next 2 weekends in 1 week. This whole area is part of a red route, I think it is, where a lot of studios and artist studios and galleries and everything are open for that period to really, so that people can come and see what goes on. I mean, I think a lot of people, especially when you have workshops like this, wouldn't tend to just walk in, thinking you're going to be disturbing people or not sure what goes on. But the whole open studio system is great for that people feel that they can sort of, you said, come on in, people really sort of, and hopefully they will, so they can feel they can come in and see what goes on. And so we usually have a bit of a tidy up, which will go on this afternoon, really, sort of, and then we'll have various small displays on in the showroom at the front where people can see finished work and various bits and pieces that we're working on over the next sort of a couple of weeks, really. Craft Scotland were invited this year to take a few people from Scotland to a gallery show called SOFA, which is the Sculpture, Objects and Functional Art show in Chicago. I think there's 2 shows a year, one in Chicago and one in New York, and it's a very, very top-end gallery show. At the moment we're busy, some of these bits and pieces you can see here will generate into work which is going to that show, so we have a couple of weeks to finish the pieces off, really, so we're going to be quite busy over the next couple of weeks. But it's a real opportunity to produce some very high-end work at the really top end gallery, it's very much an international show, really. So although it's in America, there's lots of international galleries go. So it's a great opportunity both for myself and also for for Scotland and the crafts in Scotland. No, I'm really looking forward to it. It should be great.